All right. So from here, first of all, very thank you for accept our invitation to come to ReSkills Life Talk. Anyhow, I still want to ask why you accept for the invitation to come to our ReSkills Life Talk.
First I got invited, and I think it kind of like will bring people some connection. That like if they know my colleagues or me myself before they take the class, right? They somehow will have like a little bit of personal connection. And when you have the personal connection, right, like when back in those school times, you are always performing better at the subject that the teacher that you like. So I think it's the same concept apply here. So hopefully by me reveal me about myself, whoever that attend my class or my colleague class, you can also more understand that why are we doing this and why do we want to do this.
Yes, every time a lot of people telling what they are doing, but you are quite different. You're telling why you are doing this. You want to let the public to understand why it's so important that you want to transfer your knowledge and your skill set to them. And the first question I want to ask is about your family background. So are you the eldest in your family?
I'm not the eldest, so I'm the middle child. I was born in 1991. I have 3 siblings with me, but I'm very fortunate I born in a very kampong place. If you ever heard about this place called Kukok or Tanjung Pi, it is actually the southern tips of Southeast Asia. So I was born there with the other 2 siblings, my older brother and my younger sister. Like I said, I get very fortunate that I born in a very kampong place. So every day I'm just surrounded by all the nature, and I live on stilt house. Do you know what is on stilt house? Have you been to Pulau Ketam? Like those houses that on a pillar and they are on top of the ocean. Yeah, so those are my houses on top, like just on the ocean. So,
cool.
Since childhood time, I was like, every day I got the opportunity to watch the tide come and up, and then I got to see mangrove otters, all kind of fishes, to witness how the mangrove tree grows. And then also, last but not least, to go with my father, right, early in the morning, go on the fisherman boat to have an adventure. Yeah.
Wow. So I can say so that you can see the sunset and the sunrise from the ocean. Wow, there's another type of enjoyment because the moment you open your door, you can see the ocean. I can imagine that. It's very, very nice. I love a kampong place. I also come from kampong place. And you mentioned Johor. Yes, I also come from Johor. So wow, there's something like familiar from my side as well. And by the way, if I'm not mistaken, I understand that NoMad Adventure is in Penang, but you come from Johor. So what made you from Johor then go to the Penang?
Sorry, I have to correct you. We are from Perak, but with Penang very
Perak.
close.
Okay, sorry, Perak.
How did I actually get tapped into this company? Actually, it was my internship company. So like in my university time, I have to choose a place for internship, and then I couldn't remember how I choose them, but it just ended up that I having my 6 months internship in the company. And throughout the 6 months of spending my time in the company, right, I do realize that maybe this is the thing that I want to do for my life. So after I graduate, I take back again, I just text my boss now. They're like, oh, okay, I'm graduate now. So are you interested with me? So very lucky, she said yes. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So is your family is in the Perak as well, or they are still in Johor?
Oh no, all my family members are. My parents were in Johor. My brother's working in Singapore. Then my sister's still studying in KL.
So your sister will be the younger sister?
Yeah, younger sister.
I see. Wow. Do you still remember when's the last time you went back to Johor?
I think Chinese New Year. Yeah, this year Chinese New Year was the last time, I think.
Yeah, hopefully that everything will go back to normal, then we can go back to Johor again.
Yeah, hopefully.
That means your intern is with the NoMad. But is it during your primary school you already have this adventure spirit or your outdoor the ambition to go out to teach people?
Actually not. So I have a very big turn on my ambitions. being grow up as a Johorian, like especially Johor Chinese, right? So I remember that when I was 8 or 9 years old, there is this Singapore drama that like drew in with me so much that like it was talking about hotel. And then the whole drama were talking about, oh, those hotel manager were busy, like, kind of like drama thing. And then me being an 8 or 9 years old girls, right, I was like, this is the place that I want to work. So actually, my first ambition is like, I want to work in the hotel chain line, serve in the hospitality and all. Yeah, so since then, I like, push myself, like kampong kids want to learn English is very difficult. But because of that ambition, I want to push myself more. So I start to like, just in the class, suddenly randomly speak English with my classmates, with my teachers and all this. And then this dream, somehow it continued until 18 years old, 19 years old. Yeah. And then this dream eventually stopped when I eventually get enrolled into Temasek Polytechnic in Singapore in study management hospitality. And then I pull a break. They're like, oh, maybe that is not the thing that I want to do, After 10 years of insist, I want to do something with the hotel. And then once I got the opportunity, then I just stepped back.
Whoa, why?
I think it just suddenly come in my mind saying that like, am I sure that I want to be in the building for the rest of my work time? Like, I mean, almost all the time, right? Like in the hotel,
Yes.
And I remember back that like, my childhood time that I spent in the nature, it was great. I mean, you cannot get very luxuries like whatever you can get in the hotel, there's a bellboy open the door for you, there's aircon. But then during 18, 19 years old, I realized that, the satisfaction come in very differently when I imagine myself in the hotel working and also stay close with the nature. Yeah, so I think that put a very big break. So during that time, I wasn't show up. I mean, I already pay like, I think the first semester there on the Polytechnic and all this, but eventually I didn't went. And then I put a break, and then my mom and dad was like, okay, now great, what you want to do? You just pay the fee, then you don't want to go. I was like, okay, I will go to the cheapest option. So I went to SCPM by myself another 2 years, a year and a half, to just really figure out what I want to do.
Okay. So at that point of time, do you figure out what you want to do?
I wasn't very sure. So during STPM, I was just kind of like studying all the science stream, like physics, chemistry, biology, all kind. I wasn't very sure, but then during STP time, you are young, right? And then you just want to play around. So I went out a lot, go out with my friends, camp out a lot, or even just picnic by the ocean and all this, right? One thing that I'm firm that is, I don't want to stay in the office. Yeah, that is the only thing that come into my mind. I wasn't sure. I doesn't even know what is the outdoor industry yet.
So from what you listen around, what you hear, what you understand around is only the office work, but you don't know what can be done at the outdoor.
Yeah, I only sure that I don't want to work in the office. That's it. Yeah.
So maybe due to your background, you come from a very close to the nature place. I saw your course, but I don't want to mention it. I let you to mention what is that, because I was so curious. What? I never heard of this topic, this subject before. So I let you review the answer.
So after STPM, right? Like, okay, now we got to choose like which IPTA, like which local university that we want to go to. I give out some criteria. It wasn't very serious one, but I remember I tell my mom, first, I want to be far away from Johor. I don't want to be in the same state. I want independence. And second, I want to study something that is close to nature. So I was doing research online, and then I found out like, this UPM, it's great. They have something called Forestry, like Department of Perhutanan, okay? Seems like it's studying a lot about trees. I was like, okay, maybe I was interested in it. So I get into the portal and look at it. So during that time that I was researching, right, actually there was 3 major courses. So the first one that offered under the Faculty of Forestry is something to do with woods, like timber processing and all this. And then I was like, I love tree. I don't want to cut them down. So I say no to that.
Okay.
And then,
that's a good reason. That's a good reason. I love it. So we can tell them to save the tree. Yeah. Yes, you can cut the tree, but you please plant another tree at the same time.
Yeah. And then the second one is, I think, something to do with the admin and all this, which is means like I have to end up in the office, and I also don't want. And then I scroll down all the way to the bottom. There is this line called Park and Recreation in Science. I was like, oh, recreation sounds fun. I'm 21 years old. What I want to do, I want to play. So I click in and check out what is it. I remember that in the portal, there's only a very short description was saying what is the course about. It was saying that you were studying on how to managing a park, and also you were studying in recreation. I was like, okay, I still don't understand. So why not just spend the 4 years to figure out what is happening,
Wow.
So once I get enrolled into the process, right, the first day that I appear in the class, I only found out that, in Malaysia, never have this course before. So it's first in Malaysia. So UPM did a very big move that they want to shift the forestry department also into the outdoor recreation. So actually, it's not surprised that a lot of people doesn't know about this course, because compared to other, like engineering or veterinary, this is a very new course in the higher education level. So throughout the 4 years, right, what I study, other than the science part about the trees, the plants, the soil, I also learned about recreation. So the recreation journey of a person, a tourist journey, and also like all kind of ways that I can manage the park at the same time that I take care of the environment. At the same time, I also guarantee of my user experience. So this is basically what I studied in the 4 years. Very surprising as well. The course, how it conduct in the 4 years is exactly like its name, recreation. A lot of time that we are just out there for the field trip, camp out, shower in the waterfall. Like I can count how many times that I spend my time in the classroom with my teachers. But basically, we were just all the time outside throughout the 4 years of university life. It was in a reserve forest in Puchong, if anyone know that.
So from here, in Puchong. So the UPM, okay. So which means that you study in UPM, but you are not in the UPM.
Yes. So every morning I have to wake up 7:30 to travel an hour from Sedang, travel to Puchong, and then because it's a reserve forest, right? So the bus cannot really reach until the doorstep, or so-called the lobby of the building. So the bus can only stop halfway. So every day morning, we just have to it's again hiking time. We have to just hike all the way in to reach the faculty itself.
That's why when I look at this subject, I was wondering, what can I study from here? But you mentioned this is a big initial, come from the UPM, and they try to make it as a major in higher education. Yeah, it's quite surprised me. After you study everything, you get your certificate. So did they mention that where you can apply your job, or where you should go?
Actually, those faculty staff and lecturers, they are very helpful. So they did give us enough exposure on where our career path can be. And because we are the first one, right? Basically, I feel very fortunate, they prepare all their resources for us to tap in since internship time. So during our internship, some of us get into the government part, like you said, right? Like internship at Taman Negara. Some of us got opportunity to internship in the private agency, like me, myself, right? Working in the private agency throughout my internship life. So, the school teacher, they prepare a lot of resources for us to guarantee on the career path and all this.
Yeah, so from here, Surin Victor mentioned that Kampong have fresh air and birds singing. So I think this is why you choose for this subject as well, because every day surrounding you is the water, the nature, the animals around there. Wow, cool. So from here, this is where you get the internship from the NoMad Adventure?
When I first got my internship in NoMad Adventure, I actually don't know what will I be doing, because I remember there was something wrong with my internship application. So there was the last week before I eventually start the internship, right? Then I got informed by the faculty staff saying that I have to change the location. So I was like, okay, left only 1 week. You just give me whoever, then I will go. So they give me this one, NoMad Adventure. I was like, okay, great, let's go there. So when I first appeared there, I thought my job maybe will be, bringing people do some archery stuff, or bringing people walk around in the kampong, kind of like that. But then I realized that I stepped into a new world that I never know. So, like I tell you just now, right? Why I study in forestry is because I love being in the setting itself, in the natural setting itself. But then when I tap into NoMad Adventure start since my internship, it made me questioning myself that like, you know, if I really like the setting, right? What can I do? What else that can I do? I mean, when I study in university, I mean, even though previously I said I don't want to work in the office, but I do think that like I love the trees, I love the forest, so I want to protect them. So the best way is I become a ranger, right? Like I go inside the jungle, maintaining the tree, taking care of them. But then once I got into this NoMad Adventure start my internship, I realized that maybe my thinking was a bit off because how many trees that I can taking care of by myself, like I can only taking care of this much. But one thing that it can change, which is the education itself. So when people search, right, NoMad Adventure, a lot of people will be like, okay, it's a tourism company. Yes, we are a tourism company, but actually the core business is come from outdoor education. We have a lot of schools. They have like these outdoor camps and all these. So they're bringing young people to us. So during that time, I really see the impact of like, if I choose to be a park ranger to taking care of the tree and to just think that like that is the way that I can do to protect the tree, maybe I'm off. Maybe the best way is really through education that, teaching these all young people to find enjoyment in the outdoor, even though it's challenging. And then because of this enjoyment, they will grow the initiative that like they want to protect the environment more. Yeah. So it's like second light bulb moment again in the career.
Another ambition pop up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree that education can help because just like when we go for hiking, they did mention that you leave your footprint here, don't literally during your hiking. So I think education will be the best. Education is the part that which can help you to achieve what you want. Like when you mentioned that you want to protect the tree, instead of you just protect the tree, why don't you share more your experience, share more your caring to the public to mention that this is how we can love our tree. This is how we can protect our tree. I do agree with you. After 6 months, how do you feel for your first internship?
I actually feel very fulfilling. I mean, I study in park management, study in the biology of it, but I never really specifically study in the outdoor education itself. And then when I get tapped into this 6 months with NoMad Adventure, right, there is just camps after camps, camps after camps, and then I meet a lot of the senior members in the outdoor industry in Malaysia. I really have a lot of feeling, like I feel very fulfilling that like I feel like myself entering internship, I start from zero again to start to learn and all this. And I would say that like this 6 months, it's somehow fixing the future 6 years and ongoing that like so far it still doesn't change any yet. Yeah.
So which means like the 1 week changes actually change your internship. I can see that if you look backward, right? The 1 week changes actually considered it change your life. But what made you stay? Is that just I mentioned that after graduated, you even offer yourself back to NoMad Adventure. So what made you think that you want to attach with them at that moment?
I think the company culture and also the dynamic of the company, they're like, I feel like I'm learning every day. Every day that I work, every day that I learn. And I'm enjoying this process, like I'm learning what I like, what I love. Because of this feeling that like it keep me like I want to tie in with this company. Like things change, of course, like in the past 6 years, I'm not just all the time doing outdoors. Sometimes I have to stay in the office, complete some small project or preparing some, indoor classes and all this. But so far, it still doesn't shift any. I think it's very anchoring deep down in me that like the company dynamic and also the culture of it is very attractive to me. That is one thing. And then second is, of course, my own belief in outdoor education can solve a lot of the problem that we are facing right now in the society, in the environment. Yeah.
So along these 6 years, is there anyone, is it from NoMad or outside of the NoMad, which inspire you to become a trainer?
I mean, this is the 7 years that I'm with NoMad. So I realized that like actually a lot of people want to do outdoor. Even my friends, like whoever that work in Singapore or like in KL, right? Like all of them was like, oh yeah, Cindy, it was so great. Every day you were just playing in your office. Or like, yeah, I choose to live that way. Like, and then they will also tell me they're like, yeah, we also wanted to. We're like, okay, then what's stopping you? Then they will say, yeah, because we're scared. Oh, yeah, because it's dangerous. Oh, yeah, because it's this and that, right? And it's normal, when people get into the new environment, they have a lot of scared feeling. Even me, myself, to be honest, 7 years in NoMad, I never really tried all the activity that we provide because I also scared. Yeah, I feel like I need to find a way that like I can help people to eliminate a little bit or reduce a little bit of their fear. And then I realized a lot of time when we talk about outdoor, people were like, oh, okay, it's a bunch of crazy people going out and challenging themselves and they risk for life. But things can do it very differently, like we do proper risk assessment and then we learn all kind of skill that we can help ourselves. So I realized that like maybe the best way to help myself to do this is I become a trainer or be a coach myself, that I can, be knowledgeable, be able to teach people that like there is a way that you can eliminate your fear. If you are feeling scared that the snake will bite you, then you have to know if the snake bite you, what you should do, Then it was somehow that like, oh, I have a backup plan. Even I got bite, yes, I still scared, but at least I know what to do. So I think there is no specific person, but it's just my belief that like I want more people to get benefit from this outdoor education. So in order for me to do so, right, I just want to find way to eliminate people's fear and also more inviting the environment more inviting for everyone to join.
All along, you find that it's good to become a trainer, to teach them, educate them to stay safe during the outdoor activity. So from here, I want to ask, what was the most challenging moment when you become the trainer?
The most challenging moment, I have to keep looking for knowledge. I mean, the world is changing very fast, right? So we cannot always say that like, I learned this 10 years ago. So now after 10 years, I'm still telling you the same piece of information. It doesn't work that way, especially in an industry that I won't say it's new, but it's somehow new in Malaysia. It was actually an industry that moving very fast in the States or in Europe or in other countries. So there's a lot of things that like keep changing. So I think the most challenging moment is I have to always keep myself on the pace that like, I can catch up with the new knowledge, and also I can keep my own skill up to that level so that I can teach people the correct thing, or at least I don't teach people the wrong thing.
Yeah. At least provide the correct information for them to secure themselves first. Of course, when you go for outdoor activity, definitely there will be something minor incident will happen. Let's put it this way. Do you facing any hard moment during when you lead them or when you're coaching them during outdoor activity? Is anyone injured during the outdoor activity?
Of course there is like all kind of injured, like major injuries that like somebody broke her arm by doing mountain biking, or it can be a minor scratch that somebody trying to climb up on the ladder and then like they get scratched. So we do encounter a lot of injuries, all kind of different one. What I remember the most is there is no specific case, but sometime in the time that like I have to bring a group of children out, or there is a school that arriving, maybe not in my group but in my colleagues group, right, the children, they will have sort of like not really allergies, but a bit more on like the mental first aid they needed, like for example, anger control, or maybe like the way that they interact with their friends, So I think those are because if it's a bleed, then you can treat, how to do it and all this, right? But when it comes to mentality, it's very intangible that you want to solve this problem. You really have to put yourself down on the same page with them, try to understand their problem. And then it's a process that you have to work through with the patients, like, I mean, we are not like doctor that can give them prescription, but then there is a way that we can get tapped into them and then make sure that they feel supported in the environment when they are with us. Yeah, so those are the cases that I will remember most compared to those like major injuries or broken arm and scratch, because it happened, right? Like in the outdoors, sometimes it just happens no matter how much effort that you put in, right?
Yeah, I do understand. So from your story, let me understand one thing. You are the expert in the physical so-called injury or physical accident. But when it comes to mentally, it's something that is a new challenges for you.
I mean,
Yeah,
I would
so
say that he's expert, but like at least you know the basic of how to treat it and don't let them die, right?
so have to put that on the safe side. Yeah, so this part will be your expert, and I love to hear that. So as long as you are with Singy, I'll tell you you are safe because she, not to say you'll get injured. It's just like even though you are in a certain incident, she can help you. Yeah. So do if you want, if when we can go outdoor, please look for Singy. Then we can go out with a safety mind. Okay. So from here, yeah. Well, from here, Yvonne did mention that she missed the camping. Yeah. So if camping cannot do it right now, but if we can do it, please look for Singy. Then we can have a safe camping site. Okay. So from here. Well, but sometimes people feel new thing is wrong. Okay, communication, but sometimes people feel new things is wrong. Yeah, because for just like our coach Sing mentioned that from time to time, as a trainer, they need to be competent. So they have to relearn, reconfirm their informations. So yeah, this part is very, very crucial because just like our coach Sing mentioned that as long as I'm not providing you the wrong informations, we are still safe. So I love it. So yeah, so from here, so during your outdoor activity, is there anything like any fun thing? When we talk about a setting, let's go for the fun thing. What is the funniest moment that you have when you were nomad?
I mean, there's a lot, like a lot. I think because like first I'm doing my career as in this is what I love to do in my life, right? There's a lot, but I think what like in this pandemic time, the outdoor camp is shut and all this, right? What made me really like, sometimes when I think back, I feel like I will put a smile on my face just by myself by thinking about it, right? Is I got to be part of the children experience that when they're trying things. So I think it was years back that I have this kids from India who just migrated to Malaysia. He is a vegetarian since young by choice. And then during this outdoor camp, he suddenly feel like he want to try a drumstick. So we were like, okay, so vegetarian is by choice. If you want to try, I encourage you because sometimes outdoor education is not just about like you have to jump off from this cliff, you have to go inside, dive inside this water. Actually, it's more about that you want them to try new things, or push them to their limit and break through their comfort zone and all this. Right? So I remember this little boy trying the drumstick that night. Is ayam goreng that night. Whoa. And then, and then normally before we sleep, we have this like talking session, huddle with the children. Then we were sharing
a bedtime story, is it?
Yeah. So I have these 12 children with me, and 11 of them were just want to hear the drumstick experience. They're like, how do you feel when you first time eat a drumstick in your life, And children just talk it for an hour. And then as an adult, you would think they're like, it's just eating drumstick. Why, But for me, it's a very important experience for this child that never tried chicken before and trying to eat drumstick, right? So that is one thing. And then sometimes it will make me think that it's fun and also it's very worth it for me to continue to pursue in this career is when I see those children break through their comfort zone, trying new things. Every time that you tell them, okay, listen up guys, today we are going up on this hill. It will be 2 hours up. So everyone will like, we don't think we can do it. Are we there yet? But when they do it right, like, you will get 1 or 2 kids like, are we there yet? But then you will see also the other side of the children were saying that like, we are nearly there, we can make it, like all this kind of character shaping in them, especially those camps that have longer duration from like day 1 to day 5. Then you can really feel that their growth, and then you feel like you are part of it. So I think that is what made me feel that like my job is very fun. That is so for my job part. So for my colleague-wise, I am absolutely not the craziest in the company as a staff.
We like to review who is the craziest.
So I have this bunch of colleagues that they just like to try things. Sometimes I even I'm not sure should we do this, but they were just like, yeah, why not? So I think I love being with this bunch of people. Like, not all the time I can keep up with their pace. Like, oh, let's try this, let's do this. But I like to be surrounded by them that they're always bringing me very positive vibe. Like no matter how many times the camp's details change or activity change or the logistic arrangement change, it always okay. And everyone always say they're like, okay, noted, it's fine. Just have fun, So I feel that is the most fun part that working in this company, that you are surrounded by a group of very positive attitude people, which is, I think, it's very precious for me. I don't think I can find it very easily in other workplace.
This part I do agree with you. And from the comment, we can see that, I think Surin also went to Gopeng with you all, because he mentioned that I had a wonderful moment at Gopeng. So I think he did join with you. Yeah, so he also commented, yeah, Mr. J, Yuan Li. Yeah, so he mentioned, this person are so awesome. Wow, okay. So definitely, yeah, the environment actually will be also another reason to make you stay with them. Of course. So when you talk about you are not the craziest person among your colleagues, so let's try something that, what is your craziest activity so far?
That I have done?
Of course.
I think the most craziest is, I remember there was in year 2019 or 2018, there was a trip in Gunung Ledang. So it's nothing very physical, but it's just that you are dealing with very young children. So what happened, why I say it's very crazy, because it was back to back. So I've been spent 3 days, 2 nights with this bunch of 8 or 9 years old children, and there's me handled 12, and I have another 10 colleagues, which means that at the whole space there's 100 of 8 to 9 years old children with us. Spent 3 days, 2 nights, and then right after a meal time, I think less than half an hour, then we will need to be in the position again to start the next batch. So it's a back-to-back situation that we doesn't really have a gap in between. So I think that is most craziest, because it really pushed my physical, that I have to dealing with this kind of working situation. But if it's by activities wise, what is the most craziest? I think till now I still not yet tried, which is in Gopeng as well. If you ever go, my company that I work with, we have this ground we call Mountain School. So it's a space that have a lot of trees, it's tall, and then on those trees there's some platform. So there's several of high rope courses that you can go through, high ropes element that you can go. I think that is the craziest for me. To be honest, I didn't try most of them because I'm too scared of height. Yeah, so I think for me it's no way, that is the most craziest for me to do. Yeah.
Okay, so this will be your next challenging activity, right? I will looking forward that you can achieve it within this year. Then when you come back to us, then you can tell me, yes, I'm ready for another next challenge activity. Okay, so far, yeah, because so far I hear a lot of story about the children. Yeah, maybe with the children you have the hardest time, you have the funnest time. So let you compare by doing the training for the children and the children and the adult, which will be hardest?
I think it kind of depends, because there's so many factors, right? Sometimes you've got a very obedient children, but then they're not willing to try. Sometimes you have an adult that very good at physical, but they are reluctant to try. So I think it depends. I would say that if it's children, right, they are being very honest. If your game is bored, they will tell you this is bored means, But if it's adult, right, when you come to those breakthrough moments, some of them will decide not to share, or they are not willing to reveal much. So I would say that it's actually equivalent challenging, for adult course. And few years back when I was just 23, 24 years old, I feel that adult is harder for me to handle, because those corporate clients, they are 30 years old, 45 years old, way much more older than me. So I always questioning myself that who am I that I I want to provide experience to these people that maybe some of them can be my father age. So who am I that I can guarantee to them that like, this experience is worth for your life, because they live longer than me, like, so why should they listen to me as such a young person in the industry? But then as years pass, right, the clarity of why am I staying, this passion getting clearer and clearer. So that difficult become less and less for me, to handling adults.
Okay, so from here, see, you mentioned about clarity. So what is the answer you have been giving for yourself when you met the senior person who want to join for like your outdoor activity?
I think it go back to the root that like I want people to feel enjoyment in the outdoor. It always go back to the core. And then throughout the years of learning in the company, right, one thing that I learned, I mean, maybe everyone realize it, but it's just a very huge light bulb moment that in my life and I learned from this company is actually it always have to ask yourself, why are you doing it? And when you know why you're doing it, then things get more clearer. So for me, right, like the why is very clear. I want more people to enjoy the outdoor. So to enjoy the outdoor doesn't mean that you have to jump off from a 20-meter cliff. It can be just take your backpack, go on a half an hour hike. That is enjoyment in the outdoor. So everyone can have a different level of outdoors challenge level, so-called. When the clarity is there, right, like I simply want people to enjoy. Very naturally that your brain will work in the way that like, how can I holding the space good enough to encouraging these people to participate in the activity? What can I provide for them so that they feel that they are more secure to do this activity with me? Yeah. So I mean, my clarity is actually very simple. That I just want people to enjoy, right? And then once this is more and more clearer, then you just become more and more firm, and you have the confidence to do it.
Wow! So that's where you build out your confidence, right? So from here, I can see that from the way you trying. And after you do it, and you also keep on finding the answer. And I love the way you mentioned that it's still back to the root cause, where you mentioned that why you're doing it is more important than how you're doing it. Because when you have a question, when you want to guide the adult, want to educate the senior person, you're asking yourself what I can do, what is based on my experience. But when you come to the why, I think this is where we can learn from you as well. When we come to the why, then we understand why we should do it. It doesn't matter they are senior person or they are the children. When, like you mentioned, we understand our why. This is where we can do it better. And I love the story. After so long we hear like you never go for the second company so far, right? After graduate.
Well, the thought did come across that like, I want to explore more, work in the overseas and all this. But then it just really made me think that like, what will change other than the setting that I'm in, right? Which is like, maybe now I'm in Malaysia, later I work in Hong Kong. So the geographic location change, the working culture change. But what it doesn't change is, what I don't want it to change is the environment that I work with, like I said, right, like very surrounded by positive people, the company that you always have something to learn from it. And then the other thing is like, I mean, being a forestry student, right, like during my study time, I went to a lot of forests that people doesn't have a chance to go simply because of the student identity. So I really think that like, actually, Malaysia have everything. We have beautiful river, we have beautiful waterfall, we have a very nice deep jungle, very rich biodiversity. So why do I, so yeah.
So I think will be, when the times come, we all know your answer.
Yeah.
Just like when you have the 18 years ambitious to become the part of the hotel management team, in the end, you end up with an outdoor educator.
Exactly.
So no one knows what will happen the next year, or even the next day itself. But it's a good experience that you share with us over here. Of course. So from here, I also can see that from our comment, Bingson is mentioned, do what you enjoy is the best. So like you say, you may enjoy the environment, you enjoy the people around you. That's the best part over there. So from here, definitely, after listening so long for your story, if let's say, do you have any quote or any motivation or statement for yourself during everyday activity?
You mean to myself?
Yeah, to yourself, because it's not the easy way. Because I will believe that even when everything is back to normal, when you're back to outdoor activity, I believe the challenges still will be the same. You still have to face the people who they're not there trying, or some minor incident maybe happen. So what makes you keep going on every day to accept this challenging?
It go back to my intention again, the why am I doing this, right? Like I do really think that, sometimes when I handle a very difficult project, or I handle a camp that like is sometimes it's too much for me, right? Then you get frustrated. I also get frustrated, get disappointed, get sad, get like, like want to cry. Why am I getting this camp? It's not fun. But then every time I have those moments, then I sit down and then I think again, like, do I remember why am I doing this? There is a reason that why I'm the one that doing this. So instead of, like sitting there and crying like, why me? Why do I have to do this, right? I always ask myself, what could I have done? What can I do differently so that I can hold a space that people can enjoy in the outdoor learning stuff? Yeah. So yeah, maybe the quote is just, I always have the tendency when I have this, sometimes I will speak to some of my few friends that like really like just crack it out with them. But a lot of times I will just come to myself, sit down quietly with myself, and then just revisit back, why am I doing this? Then you will find the answer eventually. Yeah.
I see. So I will say this is the best quote. What have I could have done at this moment? Very good. So I can see our time also come near to the end. Of course, it's a very good session that we have our coach singing with us all the time from here. So if you do have any question at this moment, please take the precious time. At this moment, type your question in the chat box, and we can get our coach singing to answer for your questions. And from here, I can see from one Joe Jenny, she asking that why do people like camping? Do you ask your audience when you want to do camping?
I mean, there's a lot of reason why people like camping, right? Like people that with young children, they will feel that like there is a good activity for young children to explore their sensory, like being in the nature. For all retired couple, maybe they feel like there is a peaceful way to enjoy their retirement life. So there's a lot of reason why people are enjoying it. Maybe what can help you is to asking yourself why you don't like camping. If it's because of the insect and mosquito bites, then what you could have prepared differently, or maybe the reason that why you don't like camping is because I just don't like to sleep in the humid tent. Then what you can done differently, you can buy a lot of things from Shopee nowadays, those camping tech, technology stuff that like can make your camping way much more cozy. So yeah, there's 10,000 reasons why people like camping. So yeah.
As long as you have well prepared, you will enjoy your camping. I can say so, right? If you don't like camping, or you want to find out how to be loved in the camping, go find our coach Singy. She'll tell you more because she has met a lot of people who do. So it's a very good thing. Yeah. So do post your question in the chat box. At this moment, we still can able to get our coach Singy to answer for you. And of course, after talking for so long, we understand you come from Johor all the way, go to the wanted to become a hotel management, but in the end, the admission changed, and you go for the degree. Because I'm so sorry that I cannot remember. It's a Bachelor of Park and Recreation in Science.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so when I'm sorry, when I talk about this subject, right, I was wondering, should I go to do research? After I check it, sorry, I still don't understand. So that's why I just have to let you to review the answer. Okay. I don't know how to explain for this subject, right? Okay, so after taking this subject, good. Then we can see our coach Singy move to the internship. Then after internship, straight away join the company and working until today. And we can see she share a lot enjoyment, the funniest moment. Of course, she also have a downtime. So when she having a downtime, she mentioned that what can I do to become better, or why I'm doing this. Yeah, so a lot of things come from the coach Singy. However, we still need to make if you're asking for the final message for our audience, okay? But before this, I just saw a question come from the chat box. So from here, it's come from a Zhu Journey again. He said, have you ever been camping? How many times you have done camping?
I cannot count.
Lost the count.
Yeah, among all the outdoor activities, what I enjoy the most is camping, because I feel it's physically less challenging. You just have to set up the tent and then you start cooking, then you eating, then you rest, then you eat again. Basically, that is most of the people camping routine. Yeah, so camping is always my top favorite outdoor activities, and I do camp a lot, even until not right now in the MCO time. But last time when we having 2 days off there, I'm still the one that raise up my hand, anyone want to go camping with me, please? Sometimes my colleagues got buy-in. Sometimes was can we just go to the shopping mall? Been 5 days, we need to see the city. So I do camp out a lot, and I feel that doing camping, right? People maybe will see that why do you make your life so suffering? Even when I traveling around, I also came out. I went to Taiwan, that instead of sleep in the hotel, I came out in the national park. I went 2 weeks journey in the state. I only spent 1 night in the hotel, and then the rest of the night all in national park. Every day came at a different location, go on different hike. So people might think that why are you paying the money to rent out the tent and all this to just suffering yourself? But for me, actually camping, it made me slow down a lot, because you have to slowly pitch up your tent. You have to plan what you want to cook, where you want to eat, how you want to get fire started, how you want to make sure that your backpack is clean, it's dry. So I feel that it's slowed down a lot. And then there is people camping in the city, but most of the time that I camping in a very natural setting where there's a river around, by the beach. So when you're in those settings, right, the nature slow you down in whatever that you're trying to do. In Malay, there's a word say kejar dunia. You just have to want to grab everything that you can from society and all this. But I feel that camping is a reset button for me. When I get over hectic or out of hand or too overwhelmed by a project, step back, camping, and then during camping time, I have conversation with myself. Not really talk out loud, but happening in here that asking myself, why am I doing this? What can I do better? How else that I can do differently? So those are the things that it happen when I'm camp out. And sometimes it doesn't go that deep. Sometimes it's just pure fun, go camping with 10, 11 people and everyone just saying jokes, playing guitar together, it's just fun.
Okay, I can see you having a lot of fun, because when talk about camping, you have a lot of things to share with us. That's great. Time also come to the end. So very thank you for Coach Singy to come to our ReSkills Life Talk show, and it's our honor to have you to be here with us for the whole night. And I hope you also enjoy for the sections. Okay, so do stay with us. And of course, we will get our Coach Singy to be on the screen for the ReSkill platform as well. So do stay tuned with us. And thank you very much for Coach Singy. Thank you for your coming over to our ReSkills Life Talk. And we hope to see you soon.